We'll give it a quick sec. Sometimes there's a slight delay, but it says we are live, so give it a moment. All right. Welcome to Wise Beyond Bitcoin, where you come to learn more, educate yourself about cryptocurrency, blockchain, the opportunities, analysis, updates in the market. My name is Lucas.
My name is Ryan.
I'm Jacob.
The whole team is here. We've got a lot of great news to share with you. Let's get started. We like to start the day with a little bit of a market update. And of course, our website has all the metrics and news. If you want to follow the news yourself, feel free to click these links throughout the week and see what's happening. But of course, we will be giving you updates in short videos throughout the week. So don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, the notification bell to be alerted of all the updates. And let's get on with it. So Bitcoin is approaching 50,000, and there's a lot of news all over crypto land. A lot of YouTube channels are looking at the metrics, and it seems that a big push past 50,000, there's a lot of bullish momentum, and the market, the community seems to see that we're on the precipice of another major bull run. Have y'all been?
Yeah, does feel like that's the narrative building.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I think it's interesting because I don't do much TA, but I know people who talk about fractals and how the fractal chart of Ethereum matches the fractal chart of Bitcoin when it pumped to $20,000. So it's interesting.
Right. Trends within trends.
We've talked about Axie Infinity already. I'm just looking at, we like to look at the big gainers of the day. Axie Infinity is, of course, the gaming. We're going to see NFTs, and Jacob has a lot to bring. If you want to learn more about NFTs, Jacob is entrenched in the NFT community, so I look forward to bringing more about that. But that's Axie Infinity is the gaming. Gaming has been a bigger market than Hollywood and the movie industry for many, many years, billions and billions. And we're talking about blockchain and cryptocurrency and NFTs bridging to the gaming community and the virtual world. And that's where we're going to see a lot of action in NFTs. But what I see popping out in the article you found, what I've been excited to talk about for weeks now, Luna is up 12 to 13%, which is good news, impressive. And I think we might have an idea as to what might be driving that. In fact,
And Shiba. I'm looking at Shiba before we jump into that. 55. I don't know what's going on, but that's a big move in Shiba. Yeah.
It is, and that's
cool.
I don't know what to say about that. I never got involved, but I like the stance that they took against Doge in a smart contract sense. So it is interesting to see. A lot of people thought it was a fly by night, but we see months later they continue to show strength.
One more element about that project that's worth talking about is I think they're one of the few
lock liquidity
projects that has ownerless locked liquidity.
Which
so that's worth talking about.
Jacob's representing Wise.
Liquidity.
In
Wise
fact,
token would be the other.
I was going to say this about Wise token, which so much good news. We're going to have to do a dedicated video on Casper, the DEX, and what they've got going on. But the compound $160 million bug exploit that's been talked about, we're going to get to here soon. That was done from an upgrade, a smart contract upgrade. Right. And we often find when smart contracts have to be upgraded is where you have these bugs and exploits. Yes. So when we have projects that like Wise token that are complete, you can build layers on them, but the protocol itself is not upgradable. It's done, it's complete, it's functioning, and it continues to function flawlessly.
And in a world where smart contracts are not being exploited with bugs, that might not seem that important, but on a day like today, when there's $100 and something million at risk, then you see the value in Wise Token's approach with the complete smart contract.
Absolutely.
So you want to jump? What do you want to jump in first? Should we talk about the bug?
Well, how about let's just go right to Terra. Let's start with some good news.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ryan. Jump into because we've been waiting for this for a while.
So there's another upgrade happening on the Terra protocol. It's called Columbus 5, and what's going on is there is a a move to bridge or make basically bring into communication the protocols of Solana, Cosmos, Polkadot, and Terra. And this is the Cosmos ecosystem is based on the IBC protocol. So essentially, this is an ecosystem that's going to be able to use and have access to one of the best dollar-based stablecoins that exists, one of the most decentralized, and Luna, right? So
Absolutely.
yeah, very big news for Cosmos and Solana and Polkadot. And what else is going on with this?
Well, the IBC. So one of my favorite parts is the integration of Luna Terra. What you said has always been one of my favorite parts about the Luna ecosystem. When you have Tether, and many people who've been in crypto for a long time have known that centralized stable coins have posed a risk, whether it's through regulation, or a problem with the system itself, the protocol. But now, when we've got a decentralized stable coins, and what have you been hearing? Gensler and people working in political, they say, we're against projects that aren't decentralized. We support decentralization. They outright said they support Bitcoin, Ethereum because they're decentralized. But others,
right.
So projects that are truly decentralized, there's a value in that. It's been spoken from up high. It's been spoken from all places. And here we go. This is Luna Terra is the decentralized stablecoin in crypto. Probably, I would say, the premier decentralized stablecoin in cryptocurrency. Yes. And crossing them with these other ecosystems. The IBC protocol, which we're also big fans of Cosmos, the Tendermint ecosystem, and this is bringing Luna Terra stablecoins to the IBC protocol Cosmos ecosystem. So what does that mean? That means that, do y'all remember this map of zones? I love this little thing.
I do.
By the way, none of this is financial advice. It's all educational information. We are here to share knowledge. Knowledge is power. It's new technology, and we are all in this together. So if you know something that you think could benefit us, feel free to drop it in the comments. This is mapofzones.com. It shows you the different projects developing on the Cosmos Tendermint ecosystem. Now, what's beautiful about this ecosystem is that these are all separate blockchains. Okay, these aren't smart contracts operating on a blockchain. They are blockchains themselves. However, because of the foundation code, the IBC network they're a part of, they can still communicate directly. And this is huge for allowing independent blockchains to communicate directly without having to wrap, right, and go through a central service. And bookmark this. We will be adding. Oh, look, they've added Terra already. So it's neat. This is an interactive map, and as more projects join the Cosmos ecosystem, we're going to be able to watch it live and you can actually see the connections that are made. So this is very, very bullish, very good news, and I really feel that the Cosmos ecosystem is one of those sleeping dragons, those giants coming into the next year of crypto.
And there's one more part of this article before we jump off of it that I think we should touch on. Mm-hmm. This upgrade is going to change the way that the fees for minting UST Terra, the way the fees are handled. So previously, a portion of those fees were allocated to reward pools and distributed back to the community. Now, those Luna tokens that are used to mint Terra are going to be burned, all of them. Now, there will be some income. The income for people in the community will be continued because they're going to have a new system of swap fees going to be allocated to the community. So they will be replacing the lost income essentially. But the change will be deflationary on Luna itself. So that's another thing to keep in mind, that this is going to potentially increase the rewards to staking and just holding Luna itself.
And on top of that, that's a good point. Like you said, it's way more than an EIP 1559. We're talking about a major burn. That's pushing up on the price action of Luna. But Luna and Cosmos and Avalanche, which we'll get to, and others, these are some of those rare protocols in blockchain that we always promote not being passive and investing from some traditional mindset. These are ecosystems that are being built from the ground up by us, the members. Those men and women who take value and secure and lock up the chain are building the foundation for the future. And these protocols reward you. So if you are staking on their network, we've talked about it, we'll talk about it again as it happens, but you potentially, not even potentially, you guaranteed will earn free airdrops gifted to your wallet address for being a supporter of the community. So if you see a project that you like, and I always recommend learning about it, do your due diligence, but get involved, get your hands dirty, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Interact with it.
Okay.
Just for interacting with Wise Token, it was like before they had announced that the what was it, their
Liquidity transformer.
not the liquidity transformer, it was their legal contract that they did.
Oh yes, yes.
When they raised the funds for that, nobody knew that they were going to be giving back in any type of way, and everyone who donated gets a free NFT, and they could choose to burn that NFT for $1,000. I mean,
I can't. I kick myself because I was so staked up at that point in time, and I was just really behind, and I had it on my to do. I missed it by a day because I was running out of time, but that I did not get a chance to donate to that. I still kick myself, but the moment those NFTs got dropped to everyone, that it just shows. It's just one of the things that the Wise token community has always done. Even on the Binance Smart Chain, Harmony One, they're constantly finding ways to reward their community. They've been one of the blockchains, crypto projects that have done that from the beginning. Find ways to give back and reward your community. So speaking of rewarding the community, more bullish news in DeFi and in crypto. Another project that we are big fans of, and that is Avalanche. We've been talking about this, the Avalanche rush coming, and it's here. And what does it do? Who is it involve?
All right, yeah. So there's a program that has some incentives for what we're doing is we are bridging, or we're launching essentially AAVE and Curve on Avalanche, right? So it's bridging these systems together and making it possible for AAVE and Curve to bring their assets onto Avalanche, moving from Ethereum to the Avalanche protocol.
And for people,
that's going to be obviously awesome.
And for people that are understanding why and how this works, if you've been involved in DeFi, Ethereum, the gas fees have gotten just egregious. So to be able to transact, borrowing, lending, sending, operating smart contracts becomes very costly. Avalanche is one of those smart contract platforms. It has a very, very solid background. If you look at the developer and the team, they've been there, as many people know. Ethereum needs help. Smart contract blockchain world needs more protocols, and Avalanche is one to help relieve that burden. AAVE and Curve are some of the many projects that see Avalanche, AVAX, as a solid, secure network with which they can continue to operate without being stuck on Ethereum, which is too costly. So this bridging, if you want to be involved in DeFi, borrowing and lending now, instead of waiting for Ethereum to move to proof of stake, which could take another year or so, you don't have to wait anymore. You can get involved right now, go to AAVE, bridge, move from Ethereum right to AVAX, and bada bing, bada boom, you're able to lend, you're able to borrow, you're able to engage in DeFi. Now, as we all know, I can't say this is going to happen for a fact, but I wouldn't be surprised that if you engage and if you use the bridge, and you may get an airdrop, you may get rewarded just for, and it's happened before. So, but that's what else did you have on this, brother?
That's pretty much it. Avalanche continues to be a very exciting protocol. I mean, we could touch on other things with Wonderland and staking time, but that'll be another story. But yeah, I think a lot of activity, a lot of innovations happening on Avalanche. It seems to be poised to be a blue chip. Right?
Yep,
In this space.
You're right. And Wonderland time, we'll do more. We'll do a video on the Avalanche ecosystem because these new blockchains that are coming out, they are building off of the shoulders of what Ethereum did, the Uniswap, AMMs, these other protocols. So it's good to know where to go once you get involved, and that's what we want to help bring to you. So if you want to know where to go on Avalanche, hit that notification bell. We've got more vids this week and in the weeks to come popping, but you've got Pangolin, you've got Yield Yak, you've got Banky, you've got Wonderland and Time. And what did you say is the APY on Time right now?
On Time on Wonderland, it's like 40,000. It's insane.
40,000
What?
APY. Yeah. So we'll definitely be showing more about that. If you want to know where to get 40,000 plus APY in crypto, hit that notification bell. Moving on to the next. What else we have here? A gold.
We have a slew of Cardano stories. Well, we have one or two.
Yeah, we do.
But this one's fun. This is fun. So Cardano's partnering up with a DeFi protocol called Meld, which has a three-way partnership with Tingo Holdings, which is and another thing called Ubuntu Tribe, which is an ethical crypto company, who they tokenize natural resources. And it looks like they're going to be creating a gold-backed stablecoin, which you can borrow, lend, stake, and on Cardano. So we've been talking about potentially a gold-backed stablecoin here and there. The thoughts come up as an idea because it's an alternative to a dollar-based stablecoin, which I think might get around some of the regulatory issues. But yeah, this is interesting. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, gold's done very well. It's poised to do much better in the future as the paper currency supply continues to grow. Whether or not that holds going forward, indefinitely, I don't know, but I think there's a good argument that it will. So yeah, I think it makes sense to back a stablecoin that way. What are you thinking?
I'm just thinking about Ubuntu Tribe because Ubuntu is a Linux distro, and I don't know if they have any connection with like the Linux Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
That would be interesting.
That's right. It would be if there's a link. Yeah. Maybe it's based off of a Linux code or something.
Which is
Cartesi was working on making Linux, working on a blockchain environment for programming Linux.
And that Ubuntu, I've heard that name around another movement in Africa that revolved around freedom and liberation, and so it makes sense. I wonder if it's part of the same thing.
Here's some more details. The gold will be stored in a vault, tokenized, and then fractionalized and divided so it can be sold.
I'll tell you how I feel about this. I feel that it's great to show blockchain being able to be used in this capacity, right? Maybe it's a more secure version of a gold-backed dollar in the past. But at the same time, I don't necessarily feel that having... blockchain has a value in and of itself, and the idea.
I like where you're going.
Cryptocurrency and blockchain has a value that supersedes needing to have an asset-backed, token.
There's a bit of a materialist bias in this, right? Thinking that you have to have a physical commodity with what used to be called intrinsic value.
Right.
That's the gold bugs term.
Right.
The dollar doesn't have intrinsic value, but gold does. So
right.
There's a little bit of a materialist kind of bias, I think, in this. But I don't want to be contrarian.
And the weakness is that great because now you come back to the same problem. Okay, who's storing the gold? Where is the gold stored?
The custody questions.
It comes back to custody. So I think it's just the moving forward for a monetary unit for blockchain is the fact that you have a transparent ledger, it can't be corrupted, and all these other reasons. I don't feel that we need to find a way to have cryptocurrency be backed by gold in order to bring value.
Would this be kind of like like putting a horse connection and
To a car?
front end of a car.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
So you can pull it when,
Right.
when you want to switch back to the horsepower.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. It's like, well, we kind of innovated past that, so what are we doing?
However, I think it's cool to see public transparent ledgers being used, right? Because, you have central Peter Schiff and people have had gold investment companies, right? Where we'll hold your gold and be, but it's nice to see this being moved to public ledgers and being more transparent on the blockchain. So I think that's neat for people who are into owning gold to maybe that could be more secure in that sense. But
right, because it's better than the GLD, which people have said is not as safe because there's not a real limit on how many GLD contracts exist versus the actual ounces of physical. Whereas in this sense, it's a blockchain thing. It'll be audited. It'll be a one-to-one sort of relationship, I'm sure.
Totally. So
yeah, I see an innovation here for sure.
But do I think that is what blockchain needed to be viable as a medium of exchange? Absolutely not.
Yeah, I would agree with what you're saying.
We have another Cardano is another blue chip in the world of crypto, and we've got another article on Cardano, and that is.
Yeah. Well, we're teaming up with an NFT esports company called Rival, and this is going to be about NFTs, and they're going to be distributing. This is going to be a way for Cardano to create and distribute NFTs and redeem them as well, and with royalties and all that comes along with that. Now, Rival has a pretty awesome portfolio of a roster, I guess you could say, of companies or partnerships. That's the word, which includes NFL teams like the Seahawks, NBA teams like the Pistons, and also other I think soccer as well. So they have a sport. They're plugged into the sports world. So we could probably anticipate maybe seeing Cardano have exclusive NFTs connected to these teams. That could be coming.
I'll tell you what else is really cool about this, and I know, Jacob, you'll have a lot to add to this. What's neat about the NFT world and what's being done with NFTs is many people's complaint about crypto and blockchain is, well, you can't touch it, you can't hold it, I don't understand the value. NFTs are kind of bridging that gap. It's not just digital art. I mean, NFTs are actually used as tickets, vouchers, even that digital art piece can be a voucher that allows you to have access to a physical good. And actually they're talking about that these NFTs can be used as redemption for physical goods in a marketplace with royalties.
Yeah.
So
or experiences. I think Jacob's touched on that too, like an experience.
There's actually quite a few projects that do that. There's one project where it's a collection of swords, and you could choose to burn the NFT to get a physical version of that sword sent to you.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
So-
it's like a cool little fun thing,
Very cool.
That's cool.
Is that pretty much the Cardano esports rival info? Is there anything else we wanted to glean out of this, Ryan?
No, I think we got everything out of that we need to.
Well, we got some good social media news.
Well, yeah, as Facebook goes down, looks like TikTok is stepping into the breach. And they're going to be off using an Ethereum Layer 2 solution to drop their first NFT collection. That's cool.
TikTok is one. I mean, I haven't jumped on yet because I'm always real late to the game.
Oh, this actually is really good. I don't mean to cut you off.
Don't do it.
The fact that they're teaming up with Immutable X means Immutable X is a layer 2 solution that uses ZK rollups.
Mm-hmm.
And the interesting thing about that is it allows you to have a central like layer 2 where you're not paying the gas fees. It's the contract itself is actually paying for it. So it's like you're bridging your Ethereum over, and from there, everything you do on Immutable X is gas free.
Nice.
The fact that this is happening on Immutable X just goes to show that these layer 2 solutions really are going to help solve the problem with ETH scaling.
You know what else jumps out at me about this? rapper Lil Nas X is going to be the first creator to launch. And I don't know about you guys, but I've been listening to Industry Baby and Montero on repeat. Huge fan of this guy. So yeah, that's cool. I can tell you my hunch is his NFTs might be worth looking at as an investment, because that guy's got all kinds of social media cred, and if you know what it takes for an NFT to become valuable, a lot of it's social media driven, right, Jacob?
A lot of it's community driven for sure. Mm-hmm. I like to look at three aspects: community, utility, and network effect. Mm-hmm. And those are kind of the three things that I gauge.
Well, I maybe Ryan, you could send me some of his music. I haven't heard it.
Can do that.
I'm a lyrics guy, so are you saying that he's got some pretty good stuff? That
yeah. I mean, it's not. Well, I mean, we'll talk about it offline.
Well, maybe I think it's I think it's cool that, but I think it's cool when artists talk about blockchain or technology and use what their position to promote these things. And
you know, he's got some esoteric stuff to say on one video about like the Garden of Eden and
that's cool.
All that you'll appreciate.
Well, Jacob, all those 3 points that you fired off, I think what you said, Ryan, Lil Nas X, he fits the bill. He's got the community, and I can imagine in the music industry, there's utility right there, because if you're an artist and you've got NFTs, well, you can go to my show, you can go backstage. You know, I mean, he can come up with so many different, you know, ideas to give it utility. So that's cool. I'm sure Lil Nas X, is it Lil Nas or Lil Nas X?
Lil Nas X.
Lil Nas X, if you are subscribed to our channel, then thank you. If not, go ahead and we'll continue to follow up on what you're doing. But that's awesome. Yeah. Very, very cool. And then Immutable X.
This is a good segue actually to the next NFT article,
which we have right here.
Yeah.
Boom.
So Eartha. You're going to love this, Jacob, because it's continuing with what we were talking about on specific knowledge the other day about the NFT metaverse. So Eartha is a new game coming out, launching on Binance Smart Chain, and it's going to have a life simulation on a massive scale. We're going to be able to start a company, a country. There's going to be elections, military, infrastructure issues, economic dimension. There'll be an in-game currency. There's going to be, you know, this is going to be kind of like a massive universe, a metaverse, right, if you will. There's going to be NFTs will collect taxes and fees and revenues from the different operations conducted in the game. So there's like a game economy going on here. The roadmap is going to include wars and smuggling and political parties and parliament and voting, and it's multiplayer. So they're looking to build a rich and real environment. So yeah, this could be good.
That's very cool. What do you guys think about these virtual worlds being places to practice innovative ideas and see how they play out before implementing them in the real world?
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic idea.
I think that's exactly what this game is doing, to be honest, and I love that vision, because what I'm reading through here is that you'll have multiple paths to be able to explore within this game. You'll have real world economies based out of this game, and it's a way for us to really learn about economics in the real world without operating within the real world, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, it does. It's like an experimental vacuum where we can see how things move and work without risking destabilizing our actual institutions and societies.
And they're launching on the Binance Smart Chain. So, you know, I haven't been a huge fan. I don't do too much work on the Binance Smart Chain. They've had a lot of issues on hacks on different AMMs and DEXs. And however, they're a great layer 2 or EVM, solution for Ethereum, and they are continue to do work. And this looks like this project could add a lot of value, some substance. It seems like a project of substance on Binance Smart Chain for sure.
Let's just hope it doesn't get any bugs or hacks or anything, exploits that hit it. let's get a hold of the Eartha people and tell them complete the code before you launch.
Exactly.
Make sure it's complete, please.
Another project that we're huge fans of, and they are going to be they have NFTs. It's its own blockchain. Actually, they patented their own blockchain, which I don't know to get into IP philosophy, but it shows that they're serious. And the founder was one of the co-founders of YouTube. They're another blue chip considered for decentralized video streaming. Of course, I'm talking about THETA. And the latest development, we've got Kepler Wallet for all your IBC, Cosmos, Osmosis, Secret Network, Akash, and now Luna. And you've got MetaMask for Avalanche and Ethereum and Polygon and Harmony One and these other networks. And this is saying that THETA network is now having a service to bring Web3 integration. Is that what this is?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Web3 video to any app. Easy to use API to anyone, and will deliver to users a revolutionary way to stream decentralized video content with just a few lines of code. So I feel like what this is doing is just like these other Web3 browser wallets allow you to take the blockchain and interact. This is allowing you to take the THETA network and interact.
Yeah, that's exactly right. This is cool. It's decentralized, peer-to-peer, so you're going to be able to upload any video permissionlessly. Instead of having to go through a centralized service or server, there's going to be, this is a decentralized system, so anybody can stream or upload something without permission, without any centralized entity collecting information or selling your data. So yeah, I mean, we were talking about not too long ago how Ethereum wouldn't have sufficed, right, as a blockchain for transferring video because of the gas fees and just the nature of that chain. So THETA is showing that their alternative does accomplish this, and seems to do it relatively smoothly. Using T fuel was the what powers it, right? Is
Yep.
that what where the gas comes from?
It is.
Yeah. So I mean, this is very exciting.
And as you said it, I mean, this is what the CEO says. THETA's vision is to bring the principles of Web 3.0 to streaming video so that anyone can stream over a decentralized network with no permissions, no interface, and no centralized entity collecting and selling your data, which we know has been a problem with centralized services in the past. Facebook, which is down right now.
Yep.
Yeah, Ryan, do you know anything about that?
Well, yeah, we can talk about that a little bit. But I was going to say is this actually shows how the technology is being innovated and created that will make the alternatives to Facebook and YouTube of the future possible. Sooner than maybe we expected.
A good point.
And you have Facebook, underperforming as bad as they are today, and historic outages across across Instagram, Facebook, all their platforms, and their stock price has taken a hit. Lots of bad news about a document dump and what some of the not so what's the word? Well, it doesn't look good on them.
Yeah.
The document dumps exposing some very unsavory elements in their decision making, really, and it's leading to stock sell-offs. And I don't know why the website's down, but maybe that's a DDoS tax. I'm not sure, but
maybe they took it down themselves. Who knows?
That'd be wild.
I would say, as you mentioned earlier, I agree. I think pretty soon, don't be surprised if you see Wise Beyond Bitcoin doing our streams on THETA Network.
That'd be awesome.
I think
That would be cool.
That's a goal. We do want to move completely blockchain and decentralized, but baby steps. Thank you for your support right now. We really appreciate it. We will have a Wise Beyond Bitcoin support links below, but right now it's still Ryan's birthday month, so don't forget you can send some birthday love to his Bitcoin Ethereum address. He works hard all week long to bring you this news to get you out of the crypto blues. Speaking of getting you out of the crypto blues.
This is a fun story.
Yeah.
Visa's rolling out, they're announcing they have a new payment system that's going to accept everything from Bitcoin to dollars. So there's going to be numerous cryptocurrencies they'll accept. So it can be a cross-chain payment system. So this is similar to what the layer 2s and what other protocols are doing in blockchain. But we're seeing Visa say, well, if you guys can do that, then why can't we, right?
Mm-hmm.
And here we are. Interoperability. And I'm trying to get a list. So they're saying, okay, Polkadot, Avalanche, Cosmos, they'll be focused on gov coins, of course. So Visa is going to also accept the central bank digital currencies, and aka gov coins, government-backed digital currencies. Sure.
Now, that's huge because, look, think about this. If you're leaving the traditional financial world and now you're moving into the new era of blockchain, well, you're going to get a one-to-one or who knows what have you on the new central bank digital currency from your old paper, your old what you were using. This is really adding value and bridging the gap for all those cryptocurrency hodlers. All those cryptocurrency communities now have their value being brought into the same ecosystem. It's right. Marrying the value of the dollar value that's been kept separate.
It also undermines the narrative you hear from the regulators that blockchain and crypto is all about criminal. Its use cases for money laundering or criminal enterprise. And this is an opportunity to say, well, wait a minute, I could just pay my Visa bill with it, right? Let's not gloss over that. There is that use too, right?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's what I like about it.
Well, and I think about this. You look at the growth in what Polkadot, Avalanche, and Cosmos, these ecosystems are doing. Here's what I'm saying. These are ecosystems that are just beginning to grow in value and add utility to the future of blockchain. A CBDC or just a dollar stablecoin is just a dollar stablecoin. But Visa is accepting both for payment. They're both equally a utility for. Right. So if I'm going to hold on to my value, do I want to hold on to my value in a CBD, or do I want to put my value into AVAX, Cosmos, Polkadot, which are growing ecosystems that give staking rewards and airdrops? This really legitimizes, as you were saying, the DeFi and the crypto space. So huge news. And
this is really kind of what the vision that the free market banking people have always, theorists, that's their term they're used, free market banking theorists like Hayek and others this is what they've been wanting, right? A market for various currency products that all can interoperate and have a price within each other. So instead of holding them to some fixed ratio where they don't fluctuate, you actually just have a market price where they're all quoted in each other. So this is kind of getting a little closer to that reality.
It's happening right before our very eyes. And there's a traditional company that is helping us get there, not just Visa, but there's another one that's been big in bringing crypto to the masses, not directly, but in traditional finance, Grayscale is a large investment company that has really taken away the fear of crypto and being very open and transparent about supporting and exposing their clients to more of these different projects.
They're definitely a force for legitimizing the new space, I would say that. For the institutional-minded investors who are used to stocks and bonds and CDs and all that, this is a player that's been in that world saying, yeah, but this new world with Bitcoin and crypto is also worth investing in, and not just investing in a small amount, but they've gone pretty big on this space, right?
Yeah, what I love about Grayscale is they move away just from the big names. They're really showing people a lot of what's going on in crypto. Now Solana, right? Yeah. And in Uniswap, which is a decentralized exchange built on Ethereum, and that's being supported and invested by traditional finance. So again, we're seeing a lot of support for decentralized projects.
Right. Yep. And as they're adding Solana and Uniswap, I believe I read that they're reducing their holdings, I believe, in Bitcoin and Litecoin to make room. I'm not mistaken.
Yes, right here.
Yeah.
Reduction of its portfolio in the largest crypto asset by market cap. And well, Now, isn't that telling? I mean, a lot of us have seen, once you get involved in crypto, you start seeing what the limitations are, gas fees, transactions, speed, security, and you start to appreciate why other blockchains and protocols exist and smart contract platforms. So seeing a large company now, while you hear all this mainstream news about Bitcoin and Bitcoin and Bitcoin, seeing a large company reduce their Bitcoin holdings and Litecoin holdings, which are some of the oldest premier cryptos in the space, to these newer, more innovative blockchain, smart contract platforms and DeFi. That right there is, I think, is a big signal on where the future of this space is going.
Yes, I agree.
Oh yeah, big time.
And of course, Solana is another one of those blockchains that is very big in the NFT space as well.
Right.
So this is another way of Grayscale letting its clients be open to the growth that comes through NFTs.
NFTs really are pushing this whole space further. I don't know if that wasn't for them. I don't know where the growth incentives at this very moment would be coming from in DeFi, because we've already had such a big growth in the lending, borrowing, staking side. But the emergence of NFTs and then being able to lend and borrow off of those, it's just like a whole new use case that it's really powering up the purpose. It's showing the utility of these systems, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely catch the reference to Wise. Yeah.
Yep, and just to speak more on, just really quickly to speak on the NFTs and Solana platform, I don't know if anyone heard about Wormhole, but they're allowing for NFT interoperability between the Ethereum mainnet and Solana. And now that's just one blockchain that's doing that. Harmony One Network is another one that's Ethereum virtual compatible, that is trying to build out the same thing, where you can take your NFTs and bridge them across chains.
Very cool. Yeah, that's the next step.
Yeah.
We have some more national news. I have no segue from that, but we have some more national news. El Salvador is back in the news. And what do we have on that, Ryan?
Well, the headline, it kind of speaks for what's going on here. There's been a successful onboarding over 3 million users to the Chivo wallet app in just the last 26 days, or roughly a month. So that brings that's half. That's essentially nearly half of their citizens have received some Bitcoin for free from the government, and they've got the app and they're engaging with the wallet, and that's huge. I mean, that's a massive onboarding success. And I don't know. That's great. That's very optimistic for the success of this dual legal tender experiment.
Big time.
And I will say this. Latin America continues to really pave the way in openness towards crypto adoption. I mean, think about this: giving every citizen a Bitcoin wallet to start with, just so that they have it. That's huge. I mean, that shows. How do I say it? It shows a lot of support for progress and direct exposure to the citizens. But one thing I was going to say is, many people are aware that Binance, the exchange, was one of the largest exchanges with liquidity to give people access all around the world. And what many people aren't aware of, and I do want to put a quick video on this later, but of course, if you're not in the U.S., just like in Binance, if you're not in the U.S., there happens to be built on the Binance Smart Chain, so connected to Binance. It's a sister from them, but it still operates under the same before Binance moved to its current highly regulated oversight. In its original days, that this exchange is considered to be just like the OG, the original Binance. So if you'd like to have exposure without all that nonsense and to go through in order to get involved, the name of that is Bolsadex. Check out exchange.bolsadex.lat, and you will be able to have access to a lot of different crypto projects easily. And won't be able to show you it, but if you're not in the US, feel free to check it out, and I definitely recommend. It's just one of those places. But think about that. BolsaDex.lat. This is showing how Latin America, El Salvador onboards 3 million more users. And now you're looking at y'all know how big Binance was at growing crypto adoption for all of these different. And now you've got a version of Binance just like that, with that liquidity tied to Binance. So the liquidity's there. They've got the liquidity, and the fees are cheap. So that's huge. You're seeing that Latin America is really being exposed to growing the crypto and blockchain space. Yep. Very cool.
Yeah, I see that. And before we jump off this article, if you want to check out that second to last paragraph, there's a really cool little statement here that we could mention. Mm-hmm. So along with the 3 million wallets that have been onboarded, there's also been the installation of 200 Bitcoin ATMs in El Salvador. They've purchased 700 Bitcoin for the National Reserve, and they've begun to mine Bitcoin using geothermal power that's generated through a volcano. So
and
they're using a volcano.
100% renewable too. So that fights that little narrative about how crypto. And I actually experienced this the other day. I met a new friend, and I explained to them, because they're an artist, about NFTs, and their first pushback was, well, isn't that thing destroying the planet? And I kind of laughed. Because it's like, you're incentivized as a miner to do the opposite and use renewable energy. What miner wants to pay to use oil and gas when you can use free renewable energy?
Right.
Well,
and also the other thing is what's the alternative? You get rid of blockchain, and you get rid of crypto and all the energy used in it, and you've gotten rid of the thing that's potentially going to be the innovation that's going to help us save more than half of the energy that's used in the traditional banking system, because the traditional system uses double than what the blockchain system uses. So this new innovation is paving the way to automate kind of what the old legacy system, which would be, and if it does work out that way in the future and we go to a blockchain system, well, guess what? We're saving half the energy now. So I don't understand where the criticism comes from.
Well,
it's a narrative.
It's just a narrative, yeah.
Is it the energy that Bitcoin takes? Is that what's destroying the world, or is there something else? I know there's something called the Pandora Papers that just came out that are exposing a bunch of malfeasance and corruption and wasted energy, or at least you could say a lot of misallocated resources.
Mm-hmm. Well, this really goes, the energy thing is relevant too, but this really goes to the debate that you hear about crypto being a criminal thing, a haven for criminals, or its purpose is surrounded by using it to launder money or to escape, do something nefarious. And the idea is, well, since it's unregulated, and it's got scope for all these bad things, so we got to bring it under the purview of the regulators so we can get rid of the bad things. That's the unstated argument. Well, this article talks about an article dump that just hit called the Pandora Papers, and there was one a number of years ago called the Panama Papers, which is similar. And both what this is about is there was a 2-year period where 600 reporters they kind of went through this cache of documents. So there's 12 million files from over 14 countries. Companies, 14 companies, and they went through all these documents, and they found that there was just a massive amount of money being hidden offshore and over in other jurisdictions, whether it's Panama or let me look where the other one's at. The Cayman Islands, Switzerland, Monaco, Dubai. So essentially, there's a bunch of insiders and politicians, people like Putin, and the King of Jordan is another example. And what they do is they hide money they've gotten through, whether it's through illicit or illegal avenues. They hide it from the taxing authority of their own country, and they move it offshore in a jurisdiction that doesn't that is like a shield for the taxing authority, and they hide their wealth offshore. Then they use it they move it around and they buy real estate in other locations. Like example, the King of Jordan secretly bought up real estate in London and Malibu, according to this article. And so it's just really what's going on here is that it's showing how politicians at the highest levels of power are using the complicated financial system to move money into offshore havens and to keep it beyond the reaches of their taxing authority. That's called money laundering in normal language, and it's being facilitated through the traditional system by the very people telling us and other crypto enthusiasts that you need to give us control of your crypto for your own good, so we can make sure it's not used for criminal purposes.
I like this tweet in the article. Idiot, what you hear people saying all the time. It's the idiot argument. Cryptocurrencies are so bad, used for money laundering, scams, criminals, blah blah blah. But in reality, cryptocurrencies are a public ledger where everything is traceable. Look at the recent OpenSea scandal. And this is just exposing that blockchain technology, the reason it's so valuable and people support it is because it prevents men and women from being able to engage in corruption by using these institutions that have existed for a long time. I mean, we're all men and women. We all put our pants on one leg at a time, unless you do that thing where you're laying on your back and kind of put 2 feet in at the same time. There's a way to do it. Or maybe you could jump and do it real fast. I don't know. But, the idea is that this is a new way for us to communicate moving forward that it doesn't have the moral hazard, the incentives that allow people to get away with this. And that's what makes this...
it also opens up a comeback to the Yellens and the Genslers and the Warrens of the world. When they say that they want to regulate this new space, you could say to them, well, fix the problems in your own house. Get your own situation in order. And then once you've established that you can root out the corruption and the money laundering in the centralized institutions in the centralized system, then once you've proven you can do that, then come talk to us about the decentralized.
Right.
But don't sell us on your solution when your own systems are hidden with, just rife with the very thing that you're saying we're doing. And here's the thing: OpenSea, all the scandal with OpenSea, that was discovered by a random person on Twitter. This Panama Papers and Pandora Papers and these various big document dumps, these come from professional journalists who have a team of researchers, and they're spending years searching down these stories. With this what are that, and then OpenSea, you got a random guy on Twitter who figures it out. So it shows you that which system is the more amenable to hiding criminality and money laundering. It's clearly the one that it takes a team of researchers years just to find a hint, and then when it does come out, it's this big scandal, and it's whereas this new emerging public blockchain ecosystem, you can see it doesn't take a lot of work to find where the error, where the flaws are at, where the hacks or bugs, exploits, whatever. They're able to be found a lot easier.
That's a good point. And it would be like someone telling you that they need to tax you and to control your resources to make sure your home doesn't burn down, because that's what they make sure, that homes don't burn down, and you're too stupid yourself. But you look at their neighborhood and their whole neighborhood's on fire.
And if you don't pay, they burn your home down.
You look at their house, their man's like, dude, it's smoking. Yeah. Did you leave the oven on? Like, literally, it's on fire. Look, I understand you want to protect me from my house, but I'm good here. I'm good. I'm okay. Go back over. Your mansion is literally burning down right now. And where are the resources, like you said? All of a sudden, here, all these people in various positions saying, we need to make sure that there's no, fraud and corruption in this new blockchain technology, which is literally like there's barely a sliver of the money and liquidity of the wealth of the world even exists over here. And then you look over in the traditional financial markets and you're seeing collusion between all these banks and governments and countries and people hiding money and doing all this stuff that wouldn't be viable or possible in this
Or
new...
Wells Fargo.
Or well,
Outright fraud on the customer base.
they're not even allowed to have credit to their retail.
But it's DeFi and stable coins that's the big threat.
Ridiculous. All right.
Earning 12%. Spooky.
And this Pandora Papers story is actually a good segue into Panther.
Yeah, it
Protocol.
is. Boom. Here we go.
All right. So Panther Protocol is a new protocol which is going to enable people to send crypto assets privately, and it has end-to-end encryption for any, and this is not just for a certain kind. It's any crypto asset. So this is interoperability, and they're going to be minting and burning Z assets, which are kind of like clones or derivatives, I guess. So this would be like a synthetic, in a sense, right? So yeah, secure. They're going to maintain the original assets in a secured vault. This looks very exciting, and I believe the more you see the regulatory authorities start cracking down, like we've heard recently that PayPal and Venmo and Zelle are going to be forced to issue 1099s for anybody who has sales over their platforms over $600. It starts next year. So I think the more you see that happen, the lack of privacy, you're going to see privacy protocols become more popular, probably more of them. You'll see this space in crypto continuing, and I assume becoming more important as this continues.
I would also add to that decentralization is going to be a bigger and bigger factor, especially so in like organized spaces. I think that's a great segue into the next article after this article.
Ryan,
I'll touch on everything I want to say. Go ahead.
Well, you mentioned it, Ryan. So I just want to pop this article out real quick for those who don't know. We did just do a video on this, but for those who are in the live stream want to know a little bit about this, the 1099 form mailed out to anyone who uses Venmo, Cash App, PayPal that receives or payments over $600 annually, which is going from $20,000 a year to $600 a year, being required to have a 1099. That's crazy talk. That's a big deal. Now, like you said, it doesn't say that you have to pay taxes on anything over $600. It just requires reporting. But this just goes to show how when jurisdictions around the world decide to implement draconian or over-the-top monitoring on people, those people in relative places will have a need and a desire to protect themselves from what's going on.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
indeed. Now I know Jacob's got a couple of articles that we've been excited to talk about, even since last week, I want to say, right? We were going to talk about this last week, but are those different articles? I might be wrong.
So
no, this is it.
I would like to bring up the importance of decentralization in an organization. And so what a DAO is you can think of it as kind of like a workers' co-op, but it's an organization that's decentralized, built to be autonomous, built to be run by itself. And so some of these articles just real simply break down what a DAO is and what it stands for. And so the acronym DAO stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization, which was actually coined by Vitalik Buterin in 2014. And so this is just really simply breaking down what a DAO is, what a smart contract is. This is something that I would show to like my dad, who doesn't really know anything about this space. But I think it's important to understand the fundamentals of the acronym and what it is. And so I like to tell people it's a lot like a worker co-op. It's a lot like that structure where you have a group of people with a goal in mind that they're building an organization out of that's decentralized. And that decentralization gives everyone in that organization power, voting power, and contributing power, power to contribute, power to vote, power to add value. And I think the powerful thing about a DAO is we haven't even seen DAOs being implemented on grander scales. And I'm of the personal belief that we could see decentralized autonomous nations based off of the DAO model.
Wouldn't it be fair to say the DAO is kind of like a blockchain version of direct democracy, where instead of there being these representatives that have like a center of power that they're given over the others that elect them, everybody's like in a flat system where it's like one person, one vote, and whatever the vote goes is kind of how it works out.
Oh yeah, and there's definitely different aspects to DAOs, don't get me wrong. There are DAOs that are less decentralized than others, and it really depends on their use case. So if you have, let's say, a DAO for a NFT project that's like an art project, the DAO might be centered around maybe like the aspect of the art project, but you would still have the HQ that oversees like the original IP and the direction of that IP. But the DAO ran by the community is there for the value creation. It's there for not only adding value, but like a treasury fund, being able to vote on what to do with those funds, whether or not you're going to give them to charity, whether or not you're going to use it for HQ. And it's really interesting how DAOs work and how they use tokenomics to be able to get people to have a voting system. And it's really interesting how different DAOs vote. So in some DAOs, it depends on the amount of DAO tokens you have. Well, as others, just to be a part of the DAO, you just need a singular token, and everyone has the equal amount of representation, no matter how many tokens you have.
I dig that.
I think these models are going to be in the same way that DeFi is playing out to change the financial infrastructures that we use today. I think DAOs are going to change the governing structures of the future.
I dig that. And what you mentioned earlier, Jacob, I remember hearing about Aragon back in 2017 and the concept of a DAO. And that was one of my, I think my first epiphanies or light bulbs to the value of blockchain and cryptocurrency as being something more than just money. People coming together and on a transparent public ledger, coming together in united purpose. And like you said about a nation, a group of people, if there's any developers out there or members of DAOs that have a lot better understanding of this, I've always desired to put a ministry on the blockchain. I think that that's a great place to bring people together who are like-minded spiritually and intellectually to bring change, whether it's to support a charity or something else. So I'm very, very excited about the potential of DAOs, really.
And that's a great point, because I personally think that DAOs could be used to solve or alleviate certain economic problems. I mean, we've seen what happens when we leave it up to the state and state funding, and how it doesn't funnel into solving the problem all the time. With the DAO, it's really allowing us to empower that. And so like we could attack things like rampant homelessness in LA through the power of a DAO. Mm-hmm. Imagine if your community started a DAO to solve the problem of homelessness and not wave it away with infrastructure changes, but actually changing and adding value to these people's lives.
You know, it'd also be a good foundation for a mutual aid group.
Exactly.
Well.
Exactly.
And also a good way to, if climate change, global warming, whatever, environmental issues, if those do pose to be an increasing threat or cost, this might be the toolkit for looking at dealing with it. outside of of politics in the traditional system.
Definitely.
And if you actually move on to the next article, 15 ways the world is being transformed by DAOs, you could see how DAOs are already changing the world. And it's insane to me because we're seeing this technology being utilized, and we're seeing blockchain technology being utilized in ways that are changing governance forever. And this is the kind of experimental technology that's being stifled by people who want to highly regulate this technology. I mean,
right.
The point of a DAO is to have freedom as a community to achieve a goal. And it does it in a way that centralized services just can't do it.
Yeah, it enables a crowdsourcing of what the community wants in a way that is more accurate and timely and efficient than anything else I can think of.
And you look into the economics of politics and the cost that it takes to bring charity. Ryan, I'm forgetting the word.
And the administrative costs.
The administrative costs, all that dead weight loss, so to speak. Well, the dead weight loss from taxation that it takes, and all the wasted energy and money that it takes to make something happen. And that's the DAO. Really, what you see is like you said earlier at the beginning of this, Ryan. It's that decentralized democracy. It's allowing people to have a direct role in the problems that they want to solve, instead of having to go through another entity in order to try to solve that problem and hope that it gets solved. And so I can see this getting rid of a lot of wasted energy and wasted costs, and being able to solve problems a lot easier.
Indeed.
Very cool.
It helps bring coordination together in a way that would be clumsy without it, right? Because that's kind of the problem, is getting all these different people with different ideas and wants to kind of get on the same page and coordinate their actions. And a lot of what stops people from doing that is decision making. How do we collectively decide what we're going to do? And this answers that question in a fair way that hopefully would leave people feeling included, not used or excluded. And
bringing space to the overall crypto DeFi area as well. I looked at this first developer collective, Badger DAO. Are y'all familiar with Badger DAO?
Yeah.
So if they're bringing Bitcoin to DeFi in a decentralized way, which is huge, right? Because in the past, if you wanted to have Bitcoin on Ethereum, there was a Ren bridge, which is centralized, or some other protocol that's highly centralized, which means there is a risk. If you want to have your Bitcoin taken off the network, if that centralized entity is having issues, then you could be stuck and you would not be able to get your Bitcoin back. Or if your address was flagged and they, for some reason, said, sorry, we're not able to help you, you would be stuck. And therefore, having these decentralized protocols fulfilling that need is a huge value to the community. It gets rid of a systemic risk. It gets rid of...
One thing I'd add to this, you see the word governance, and you see it in that Badger DAO paragraph,
mm-hmm.
and the governance of the DAO. I like that because they're not saying government, which tends to be a noun, which refers to an entity that has decision-making authority. They're talking about a process, a technology that crowdsources decision-making, which doesn't turn it over to the hands of an entity that has control over anybody else, right? It's a very flat or horizontal system versus the other kind of governance is government, which is top-down.
Mm-hmm.
You have an authority that sets a rule and everybody follows it, whether or not they agree or not.
Yeah.
So I like this distinction between governance, which is what we see here with the DAO, and government, which is what we know of from our experience with politics as it has always been. And the distinction between those two things is huge, even though they share a very similar root to govern. But those few letters at the end can make a big difference.
Oh yeah, and to speak on that too, a part of governance is anybody in a DAO can make an improvement proposal. Anybody in a DAO can propose something for the DAO, and anybody can vote on it. It gives you full freedom. And that's kind of the best part about a DAO, is people feel that they're heard. And
It's not gatekept.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the qualities of a DAO, which kind of leads into the next article.
Before we move to the next article, I just want to say a shout out to Devin. You know, specific knowledge.net. We actually have covered these topics, and Jacob was a guest that was really going into the detail of NFTs last week. But there was a reason I wanted to mention it, just lost my mind. So I will go to the next article when it comes back. I'll jump in. Go ahead, brother.
But there are several qualities to a DAO, and one of the biggest qualities, like we were saying, is the quality of decentralization, the quality of organization.
Oh, pardon me for interrupting, brother. It just came back to me. I was going to talk about the knowledge. The reason I brought up specific knowledge is because we get into knowledge, and Ryan will dig this. Humanity, there's a problem with limited knowledge, right? And what this is doing is it's actually benefiting all of us, right? Because now anyone in the world who has an insight that politician or that person doesn't have, it empowers anyone to be able to say, hey, I can fix this. Hey, I see a problem. And instead of it going through this complex organization where no one has a voice unless you go through this barrier and that barrier, by giving crowdsourcing. And so that's where I just wanted to go with that decentralized, the knowledge question.
It helps make use of disparate distributed knowledge that other systems would leave in your head not being used.
That's it. Thank you. I just want to get that out. All right, brother.
Yeah.
Jacob.
Go ahead, Jacob.
Yeah, if you want to scroll down a little bit,
I do.
You can see, kind of see what they talk about in this article. And I mean, we have covered a good portion of this. I mean, a good portion of like what makes a DAO. What are the qualities of a DAO? And I think we kind of hit the nail on the head as far as the governance goes. But the fact that it's automated. Really, I mean, it's an automated organization that uses governance in a way to be able to continue it going, and in a way where if a member of the DAO happens to leave, it's unfortunate, but it doesn't keep the DAO from functioning, right? And in the same way, you are freely able to choose, and it's extremely scalable as an option to do that, because now as the DAO grows in value, as their mission statement becomes closer and closer to completion, that mission statement can change over time. It might be a mission statement of trying to address climate change, and then, okay, well, how do we address like other ways to make a greener Earth? It might not just be climate change by itself. It might have to be recycling. It might have to be X, Y, Z, and all of a sudden the DAO grows and their mission statement grows. So really,
it's open-ended.
It's an open-ended organization.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I like that.
Hyper scalable.
Yeah, I was just saying
right now.
Mm-hmm. More efficient as more people join, unlike traditional models, whereas more people join, it becomes difficult in a centralized system to manage all the members and to communicate all the members. And that's another benefit that we have with DAOs and blockchain, is that as it grows, it actually becomes more efficient. It becomes less likely to have a hack. It becomes more secure, right?
This article looks very good. I like the tarot card framework they're doing here.
I dig it.
Oh yeah,
that's cool.
But
executable, permissionless, very good. Yeah, so eight qualities of a DAO.
I kind of like the tarot card setup too. When I seen that, I was just like, oh, hey, that's nice.
We all dig it. I like it as well. I like the ones that they chose. Pretty neat.
Yeah.
But we will be linking all these articles for those who want to read more into it yourselves. You guys have anything else to add to the stream? Did we cover it pretty much?
Not me. Got everything I want to say.
I feel like we had a pretty good one.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Thank you all for joining us. If you like, hit the like button. You want to be alerted. We got some videos popping up that won't be long, hour-long live streams. We're going to be pumping out content, technical content, and news updates. So don't forget to hit the notification and the bell. And feel free to drop a comment if you have any project. It's such a fast-growing space. There's no way three of us, one of us, any of us can have a handle on all. So please let us know something to take a look at, what's going on out there, and we're happy to do some research, maybe even pop a video.
Let's decentralize that knowledge.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Until the next time. Oh, and I will say, since I mentioned it, if you want to hear Jacob talk more about it, I was broken up and traveling, so my audio didn't come through, but Jacob really broke down NFTs, and we had a great conversation. Come check out specificknowledge.net. Jacob was a special guest, and we really went into it if you want to know more about NFTs. And
yeah, that was a fun conversation.
Oh, yeah.
And what was it? NFTs
Episode 13.
NFTs and the metaverse. Very cool.
It's a good one.
We need to do an update and see how our picks are doing.
Oh, I know. We need to look at that.
And you can vote on that too if you want to see which one of us had the best picks. Until the next time, have a beautiful day. Namaste. And we look forward to catching up with you in a week.
Till next time.
Well, hold on a second, gentlemen. All right, here we go.